Hey guys, my name is Ethan, this is Cobra, and welcome to the series where I teach you how to build Twitch bot for your Twitch channel. Today, we're looking at moderation and auto-moderation, specifically commands, and the only auto-moderation we're going to do is to try and curb like curse words and stuff, but you can add more. Hit my desk there. You can add more in your own time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to import something into this. We're going to import a new module we're going to build called auto mod. We're going to be making a lot of new files in this one, so yay. We need to go down here to where it says if user whatever and automod.clear bot user message. Essentially automod.clear will check to see if everything is okay with the message. If it is, it will return true, and then it will go through the reactions and the commands and stuff. If it's not, it will actually completely bypass both of those things, which is why we're doing that. But to do an automod, we actually need an automod module. So if you go to, I believe it's lib, yeah, it's lib, new file, save it as automod.py. Yeah, I spelled it right. Thought I'd spelled it wrong for a second. And we're also actually going to need to go into the script and change a few things. So if you've already been using this bot for quite some time, you can use an alter table method. However, I'm just going to change it here. So we actually need the username in there because I couldn't find another way of getting it to work. And we also need a number of warnings, which will be an integer, which will default as 0. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. If you wanted to do an alter, you could do something like this. I had in my plan. So you could just add, it'd be add a column, I think. Warnings, it should default 0. So that's if you want to do it all the way. I'd say it's easy to just create a new database and get rid of the old one, unless you've been using the bot for quite some time. So that's all we need for the script. Yes, we do want to save that. We're also going to have to get rid of our database because it's just the easiest way of doing it while it's not open. That would be fantastic. There we go. Cool. So from collections, we're going to have our faithful friend default dict, and then from dot import db. Curses, we're going to use the same set of curses as we did in the Discord tutorial series. So bum, poo, and you are bad. Because I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube and I don't want to offend anyone with actual curse words. So you can put your own curse words in there, or curse phrases as you want. And we're going to have our warning timers. Now this is relative to the number of minutes the user will get timed out by. So we're going to do timeouts and then we're going to ban them outright. So the first warning, they'll be timed out for 1 minute. The second warning, they'll be timed out for 5. The third, you time out for 60. The way I've done this is you can actually have as many warnings as you want and you can set them up. So if you want to do like 120, 180, you won't need to change any of the code below to do that. You just need to extend this little tuple here, or if you've done it as a list, the list. So we're going to have our clear function, bot user message. If you're doing more than one auto mod function, this is where pretty much where an amalgamation of things will go. So any curse in message for curse in curses. We're going to warn bot.user reason. We're going to have that as cursing. Return false, and then return true. So if they did curse, then this clear will return false, and they won't, and any commands they invoked won't happen and stuff like that. If it returns true, it means everything's okay and it will go on as normal. So define warn bot user reason equals none. There we go. Warnings equals db.field select warnings from users where user ID equals that. Yeah, that was right. I thought I got it wrong there for a second. User ID. So this will just get the number of warnings that the user has. If the number of warnings is less than the length of the warning timers, so that means that they still have warnings to go before they get banned, you can say that mins equals warning timers warnings, so the current number of warnings. So if this is their first warning, they'll currently have 0, meaning you will get the 0th element of warning timers, which is 1. Because then we up the warnings afterwards. Bot.send, we're actually going to send 2 messages. The first is a command. First is a timeout command, that's huge. So we time out the user name for this number of minutes, and this M here denotes that it is a minute. You can do S for seconds, or I think hours, and then I think days. Don't quote me on those two. I'm pretty sure you can, but it's weeks, I think. Weeks might be one, I'm not sure. If you do go into slash, that's not a thing. There we go, that's the one I want. Slash timeout, wherever it is. There it is, duration. Oh, it's on the Twitch help docs, I think, rather than anything else. But yeah, that works, trust me. So then send username you've been muted for a reason you've been unmuted in minutes and minutes. And then db.execute update users set warnings equals warnings +1, where user ID equals user ID, else bot.sell just else. So basically this is if they've run out of warnings and they're getting banned, so you just ban them for repeated infractions. This repeated infractions is a reason, it is taken as one thing. And bot send message, you've been banned from the chat for repeated infractions. Pretty much, and then they can't talk again. Yay! So that's our auto mod system in place. If we go here, the bot won't be able to time us out because we are the channel owner. However, it should it should still say what we want it to say. Did it error? It did. None type an int. Did I set that up properly? 1 second. Okay, so I've sorted it. It was because it was the very first thing we sent with the new database. So if we send bomb now, there we go. It doesn't actually mute us because, again, I'm the channel owner. However, it does say you'll be muted for the following reason: cursing. You'll be unmuted in 1 minute. It would normally say here as well that they had been timed out. However, of course, I can't show that off right now. But I did do a test with a test account, I don't remember which one, and it did work. So it definitely works. Right, okay, sorry for the cut. There was something that I forgot about. We do need to do some more editing on this, and we need to modify the reaction in some way. 1, to counter the problem from before, and 2, to make the actual manual moderation stuff easier, because I can't see an easy way of doing it. Or a way that isn't just ridiculously unnecessary. So here we're going to have React add user. So this will now automatically add the user regardless of whether or not they got a warning or not, regardless of whether or not their message is okay. It will just add them outright. We do need to define this function wherever the plan's gone. There it is. We're going to define it above update records. Add user bot and then user. db.execute insert or ignore into users user ID user name values. I think we're going to put into boop and boop. Where user ID and we need to put the user.name, and then we're going to put the lower one in just to make sure that everything works fine. We also need to slightly modify our update records, so we need to get rid of this and replace it with this. This is a little bit of a different thing. So it basically makes sure that the username is set correctly. So it sets the username. So in case they've changed the username, and then it sets the messages as well. Equals messages sent plus one as it did before. Username.lower where user ID is the user ID. So yes, almost completely forgot to do that. But now we get to do our mod commands. So we need to create a new file in commands called mod my.py. Right. That was an interesting noise. From import db warning timers. We get the warning timers again because this is now manually warning. And now we can just warn members straight off the bat. So warn bot user target equals none, and then reason. So if target is none, bot.send message, you must specify. Come on, still can't type. Genuinely still can't type. It must specify a target. Else, and then get our. We need to join the reason together. So, because reason is defined here as just a list of arguments, we actually need to join it into a string because it's a just space separated list of words at the moment. So we need to just do reason equals space to join reason, and that will make it an actual string. And then we need to set warnings equals. We need to actually get the warnings again, so I'm just going to copy paste that back in because you don't want to see me type that all out again. It's the same stuff. If warnings is none, but just copy and paste this again. So user hasn't visited channel yet. So basically, if the warnings is none, it means that the target user wasn't found, pretty much. So you could put in here like target user not found, but I just put that user hasn't visited this channel yet because it made it just a little bit easier. Something came through our letterbox, nice. Not sure who's delivering the post at this time, but whatever. So if warnings is less than warnings, again it's pretty much the exact same code, more or less as before. So we get the number of minutes, we time them out, we send the message, and then we add the warnings. So we actually set the user name, or we would do it where the user name equals target. There was probably a way. Well, I can think of a way of actually being able to do it with the ID. However, it does involve looking through the entire list of users and working out from that, and it's just unnecessary computation. It's just easier to store everything, to be brutally honest with you. If you disagree, then go ahead and do it the other way. But at least for me, this is the best way to do it. Of course, where there's warnings, where we can add warnings, we also need to remove them as well. So bot.user and then a list of arguments that we're not going to take. That's wrong, I planned that wrong completely. We actually do need to pass the target in and set none. Yay, more mistakes in the plan, woo! Which means I can't copy paste stuff in, oh well. Again, the plan is literally just the plan. If I didn't make this plan, I'll be making these mistakes in the actual videos, which is why I do it. Because I bloody trust myself. No. Username. Oh, it's actually this one here, pretty much. You can copy paste, fantastic, because it's the same thing. Also remove the indentation layer a little bit. If warnings is less, I don't know why I said less than or equal to 0. In theory, it should never be less than 0. So, length of what I think I probably just did that to be safe. Either that or I had a long programming day, which is probably more accurate. Username also needs to be target, doesn't it? db.execute update users set warnings equals warnings -1, where user ID equals that. No username. It's ingrained in me. And then we just want to set that to target, and then bot.send message. Warning for target revoked, and we also need to make that an F string, and then we're done. Well, we're not actually done because we need to add the commands in to our command list, not the economy, the command list. So cool. And mod, we also need to add that, and then cmd warn, we'll just have it as warn, there's no real point. Mod.warn, and then I don't think there's not a point in having a cooldown on it, and then unwarn, and then remove warn because we'll have that. Mod.remove warn, and then that'll be fine. Cool. So now if we run that, why is that broken? There's no attribute command. Because I've done a dot there for some reason. That's interesting how it came up with that error. Mod is not defined. Oh, I didn't import it in, sorry. We also, yeah, we do need to import mod in. That should be it. Okay, cool. So if we now warn just myself, it'll be unmuted in 5 minutes, and then if we remove, because it actually kept the warning from before. Stupid Twitch, stupid Twitch removed. Run warn again to get it down. Oops. Well, I didn't do any checks to make sure there was a target. Interesting. Good job I accidentally did that. Or is there more? There's more down there. You get enormous errors from the Twitch bot. It's very impressive. So if we do remove warn now, it'll remove warn. Super rude tweet. And if we do it again, it should say that we have no warnings left. Oh. That's interesting, it just kind of did it. Apparently it doesn't throw up an error if they're not there, but I did mess that up. I did mess my own name up. There we go, has not received any warnings, and now if we warn Super Boot Switch, you've been muted for the following reason, you'll be cool. Oh, we didn't specify a reason. So yeah, that is that. If you wanted to limit that to just you could actually get the owner variable in here, and then elif user name equals owner, and then only you can use the command. But yes, that does it for our moderation systems and auto mod systems. Hopefully that'll be a good first step into it. Of course, you can add more things if you like. This is just kind of an introduction to how the system could potentially work. Next time we'll be doing kind of the final part of the main bit before I kind of go into a foray of fixes, but I'll probably do a series before then, where we just add the finishing touches to the bot. So we are doing a shutdown command, an about command, a user info command, and an uptime command, and that's it for the Twitch series. So yes, if you liked the video, and say hello down below. If you have any questions, leave them down below, or join the Discord and ask them in there. And I'll see you next time where we round off this little bit of the series. Yeah, we'll see you later.